Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're going to take a look at Leviticus chapters 24 and 25. I know that some of this stuff is kind of heavy, and it doesn't seem like it really applies to us today, but keep plowing through, and you're going to understand that all these rituals and things are a reminder that how important it is that we have Jesus, because we have Jesus who fulfilled the law for us perfectly, we don't have all these rituals that we have to go through. One of the challenges we face in church today is sometimes we replace Jesus with a lot of these rituals, like the robes that we have to wear, or the way we have to stand, or how we hold our hands when we pray, or any number of things we make as rules or rituals. But what we see in this is that these were all done because we didn't have that perfect sacrifice of Jesus. And so keep in mind, in the back of your mind throughout this entire thing, we don't have these things because we have Jesus. So be thankful that we have Jesus in our lives. Otherwise, we'd have all these extra rituals we have to handle. All right, so chapter 24, God gives instructions for keeping the lampstand burning and the bread of the presence fresh in the tabernacle. These things symbolize Israel's constant dependence on God's presence and provision. And then there's a story about a man who blasphemes God's name. The punishment for blaspheming God's name or taking it in vain, death. This may seem harsh. It may seem like a little bit of something a little too much, but it demonstrates there's a really, really important thing. God's name is holy, and it's not to be taken lightly. So throughout this chapter, we're going to find it ending with the laws about justice and this reinforcing principle of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, not revenge, but as a standard of fair justice. And then in chapter 25, God is going to introduce this Sabbath year, or what we'll call the year of Jubilee. It says that every 7th year, the land gets a Sabbath rest, no planting, no harvesting. And then after 7 cycles of 49 years, the 50th year is called a year of Jubilee. All right, so this is kind of like a reset button on everything in creation. Debts are forgiven, slaves are freed, and land returns to its original owners. You may be wondering, why would this be the thing? The idea is that everything belongs to God. We don't own anything. And so Israel isn't to live like the surrounding nations that have exploited the poor and the impoverished. It's God's calling them to trust Him, care for the vulnerable and the outcast, and then to live in the freedom and that He offers, not in the oppression that we bring on each other. These chapters are going to be a reminder that God provides, God restores, and that God is holy. He wants us to trust in His provision instead of controlling everything ourselves. Just like Israel had to give the land rest and free the enslaved, we need to ask, are we truly trusting God with our resources, relationships, and rest? And if not, we should probably start today. Be well, friends.